In this video, we'll be using 4 valuation metrics to determine the intrinsic value for Intel. Share prices dropped from $68 in April 2021 to $49 in October 2021. The 4 valuation metrics that we'll be using today are PE, DCF, ROE, and EPS valuation. By the end of the video, I will show you my bear case and my bull case scenario to predict where the share price will be in 5 years. By all metrics, Intel is considered to be a really cheap stock by value investors. Let's take a look at some of the key statistics for Intel. Shares outstanding is about 4 billion, market cap of $200 billion, EPS of $5.15, current PE ratio is about 10. This is very cheap when compared to competitors like Nvidia, which is about 81. Intel has a 0.46 debt to asset ratio. That tells me that the company can pay off all its liabilities and still have assets left over. Free cash flow is about $12.5 billion. Free cash flow is the money that a company will use to pay off debts, grow the business, and pay dividends to shareholders. But let's quickly go over some key assumptions that I am making for the future. I'm using a forward PE of 13, expected growth rate of 12% as per guidance from Intel's 2021 Q3 earnings report, margin of safety of 30%, which gives me a conservative growth rate of about 8%. The larger a company grows, the harder it becomes to sustain, so I'm using a growth decline rate of 0.5%. Based on my analysis, my PE valuation gives me $63, DCF gives me $41, ROE gives me $56, and EPS valuation gives me $84. That gives me an average intrinsic value of $61. Intel has provided a clear guidance for the next 4 to 5 years. They're expecting a 10 to 12% CAGR over the next 4 to 5 years. CAGR is just compound annual growth rate. Therefore, my assumption for 2026 is that Intel's revenue will be between $94 billion and $107 billion. Although Intel have committed to buying back shares for the near future, I'm going to assume that the shares outstanding today are going to remain constant and are not going to change for the next few years. Based on my analysis, I do believe that the share price of Intel could get to around $106 by 2026. That means that the current share price of around $50 will need to grow at around 16% annually for the next 5 years. For full disclosure, I do own shares in Intel and I do plan to buy more. Make sure you tap that like button if you got some value from this content. It encourages me to continue to produce more videos for you. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, my friends, stay curious and be happy.